The Grateful Dead?
Counting down. 5, 4.
No, you're off.
I use
No.
Hell, whoa! That's all I got. Good game.
Wow.
Hell,
Such a sad little thing.
hell,
Oh, you're still going. I take it back.
Here's the reality of that is that I think we had one listener who said she liked that. So I'm like continuing my torture of having that be my signpost, my opening thing. Frankly, I can't tell you how much how
Hate it?
scared I am every week of launching into it. I completely, yeah.
Do you need a hug, Damien? You seem like you need a hug today.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm not gaining. My energy is like fading. I don't know why. Even though we're going early today, I don't know what's wrong with me today.
We're early. You got time to eat lunch. Let's go. Let's get
turned my
what is
desk.
today? What is today?
Everything's-
turn today
everything's-
around. Turn that frown upside down.
July
Do it.
8th, 2021. This is Business Pants. We are Free Float Media. Emma Lurking, Matt Mascardi. Today's the good game, everybody. Now, see, that's all that's fake energy right there.
That's good game. And the good game for anybody who's never heard you play it is about your mom.
So every week, every 2 weeks, I collate all of the headlines that seem good that I think people probably have a positive reaction to when they're reading in their newspapers or online, wherever they read the headlines. And we are here to ask our pundits whether these are actually good or not, because a lot of these headlines are kind of created by probably the PR of the corporation itself. So we're here to put a score on it, 0 to 10. Last week was our happiest week ever. I guess it had something to do with pre-Delta variant glee. Matt came in at a 7.1, Emma at a 6.3, but together they're basically in good moods.
Well, we'll see. Today, I hate the universe. So let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
It's pretty gray here in the Northeast, so I can see these scores dipping. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, and we're going to end in a speed round. And we have some voicemails.
We do. We have some
Woo.
questions.
Questions. All right, here we go. From the top. Oh, I'm going to start with you, Emma. This is in our rarely used category of drugs.
Oh, I love this category.
10 Cent. You heard of that, Emma?
I have.
10 Cent is using facial recognition tech on under 18-year-olds to stop them playing video games late into the night. So clearly this is an attempt at fighting addiction.
I immediately have mixed feelings about it.
Well, of course, you're Emma Lurking.
There's bells. Whoa. What was that?
Yeah, what
Algorithmic
feeling?
bias.
What feeling?
Delayed bell.
What feeling did that represent?
That represented my confusion.
Okay.
And my confusion is because and actually I'm not confused. I take it back. Nothing should
Matt's
be
confused.
happening to anyone under the age of 18 that
Nothing
is
ever?
happening. Nothing ever. They should stay
That's
locked
bold.
in a room. And
Hermetically
look,
sealed.
they're people under the age of 18 are not well. They're not developed. They are misguided. And you're not allowed to facial recognition them. Like,
Wait,
do
that's
it
your
to
takeaway? So
adults.
you don't care that... What about the fighting the addiction part of it?
Not without their goddamn consent.
Oh,
I don't understand. So what's your score? This sounds like a low score.
This is a 2.
Yeah.
Matt, what do you
my
think about
guess.
this?
First of all, my problem is different. I'm also going to give it. I'm going to give it a 3.
Oh,
Whoa.
And strictly because, look,
I don't agree with either one of you.
We're Gen Xers, and I played Nintendo until like 1 a.m. routinely, and did not come out with some weird addiction. So I don't need.
You still play video games.
Yeah,
You're an
playing one
adult
right now. I'm not even
with
listening
8
to you.
children.
I'm not even listening to you right now. I'm just playing video games. But get off my face or my kid's face.
Yeah, I don't
True.
know. I think you're both wrong. I think we have to
Wow.
start dealing with this screen addiction. I think it's
What's
enough.
What's the right number?
Yeah, but not by tracking 8 people under the age of 18.
I don't. They're already being tracked. They're glued to their phones all day long, Emma. I mean, come on. We're gonna pretend like
You
this is
shouldn't be
the
encouraging
this
it.
is a wrong step.
Tencent is a Chinese company in a state.
Oh, so
in
now we have to hate it because it's Chinese. I got
no,
it.
in a
man.
country
I
where
got it.
there's literally a camera on every.
Yeah, they already know
pole
everything
everywhere.
anyway.
They know everything about everyone anyway. What's the
All right, let's
difference?
move on. I'm gonna stay with you, Emma. Norway law.
Wait.
You heard of Norway. Actually, we're talking about
hey,
Scandinavia in our pre-production. Norway. You know about it, right?
Hey,
Norway.
Damien, what
Yeah.
category is it in?
Oh,
Did we do that for the good game?
Yes,
he's
we
producing
did.
you. Be produced.
No, because
Producing you.
you don't want to do that because I have a speed round that has a
I know,
bunch
and
of
I'm not going
categories
to do
too.
it for the speed round.
Oh God! All right, let's move over to dystopia.
Yay!
Norway law Shh. Forces influencers to label retouched photos on Instagram. Come on, Emma. What do you think? This is a variation on the first one, sort of.
No, it's
I
not.
actually am I'm kind of having a hard time with it, but I think I like it on gut instinct.
Okay.
Because it's, of course, you guys are not women, nor are you,
Nope.
Nor were
Says
you
you.
bred in the age of the internet and discovering that everything you look at is fake. Or growing up in a world where everything is fake, but no one is
We had
telling you that.
magazines. Yeah.
You
We had
had
wrestling in magazines.
but you
I had
didn't have
Fox
your
Mulder
friends.
tell me everything was fake.
No, but you aren't having your friends posting on Instagram with these like
No.
perfect pictures and looking like models. And you're like,
Right.
oh, am I supposed to look like that? Because usually only models look like that. But no, now your friends look like that as well. And now you're like, holy shit, I don't look like that. So I'm really not mad at it. However, I understand why women in particular want to edit their pictures to like fit that standard. And I don't feel like they should be outed, but I think I probably like it. It's a
Wait,
6.
How do you
Yeah,
think they
why-
force them, Matt? How do you think that works?
I mean, hopefully they send some sort of drone to their house and drop poop-filled bags on their front door and say, "Don't retouch your photos."
That's where you're taking this?
I
Well,
wonder if
no,
like if you label yourself as an influencer on your I don't know like tax return or whatever, they're like you
I
gotta.
want to know why Emma conflates influencer with women. Like
Good
like
question.
it
Because
didn't
the
say
majority of
women. It
influencers
just
are
said
women.
influencer. It says
Because the majority of influencers
Norwegian
are women.
influencers are mostly women. We know that empirically.
Yeah, are there-
I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe that's true, but I'm guessing we don't empirically know whether Norwegian.
All right, get off of
influencers
it,
are
Matt.
women.
You made your point.
I
What
love
do you
it.
think?
It's a 10. Because
Wow, really?
I'm all about authenticity. We
77% of
everything's
influencers are
fake.
women.
Is that right, Emma? 77%.
77%.
Nor-
And who are they
Norwegian?
influencing?
I believe Norwegians
Oh my
love their
God.
death metal bands.
Moving on, Emma, another one for you because you like talking about food desert. So this is a
I do.
healthcare desert. So Dollar General. We featured a story here on Dollar General not too long ago. Dollar General hires chief medical officer as it looks to become a
Oh, no.
healthcare destination in rural areas. So from one perspective, that seems good, but from the Emmer perspective, it seems what?
It seems scary. It's like the McDonald's of healthcare. They only exist because they made the
Maybe worse.
situation. They created the situation that they are now considered like, oh, like you're the one food place in this food desert, and now Dollar General is going to be the one healthcare destination in a healthcare desert, and it's crappy healthcare.
So you're
It's
blaming
great.
Dollar General for the
Wow.
healthcare desert in the first place?
I have zero trust in Dollar General that they are going to provide non-abusive, shitty healthcare. I don't like it.
Okay, what's your score?
I said a 3.
Matt?
The marketing campaign for Dollar General and healthcare does seem a little incongruous. Like, do I want my healthcare to cost $1? Like, and if it doesn't cost $1,
do.
is it really Dollar General? But isn't Dollar General like the real life Ron Swanson food and stuff? Isn't that what it basically is? Is that other than the fact that they don't pay their employees a living wage? Healthcare access is healthcare access, especially since we're cutting out Planned Parenthood everywhere. So
Right.
women don't have access to any healthcare in a lot of places.
I mean, access is
No,
access.
it's not the worst. It's not the worst thing. It's not the worst thing. I'm
It's
gonna
not
give it. I'm gonna give it a 5.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right, Matt. I think it's a 5. Okay,
That
Matt.
is correct.
130 nations agreed to support U.S. proposal for global minimum tax on corporations.
The
Hey,
real
Damien.
story here. Oh
Hey.
yeah, we're in a different
Oh,
category.
give me a break. Stakeholders rule.
You're not allowed to yell at me when I produce you.
Yeah, it's true. So the real story here is the word agree. That the 130 anything agree on anything is really amazing. It's really truly spectacular. I'm gonna give it a 8.6.
Wow.
Don't round me
Yeah.
up. It's an 8.6.
I think I won't give it the 0.6, but I will give it an 8. I can't, Again, it's a promise. Nothing's actually happened yet, but sounds solid.
They agree.
What-
They agree to something.
Emma, what
agreed.
score did you give it?
She gave it
An
an
8.
8.
I'm distracted by things.
Stop
I
being
have
distracted by your
a
family
food
members.
delivery. Food delivery just entered my office.
Whoa.
Okay. Moving on. Airlines. This one seems unbelievable, Matt. I can't believe they're being held accountable for anything. Airlines may soon be required to issue refunds for delayed luggage and in-flight internet service not working. How is this possible?
Well, I mean, it's possible because as soon as they charged for it as a service, right? Like, so you
Yeah.
have to pay to put your bag on.
Yeah.
They can't charge for it as a service and then not provide the service. Your bag can't end up in Albania when you went to, France. Like, it just can't do that anymore because they made you pay for it. Number 2, stop riding on airplanes. Nobody needs to go anywhere. I'm going to give this a 7. I like it, but I don't want anyone to fly.
Matt, you're only saying that because you flew a couple months ago and you got out of your system.
I hated it, though. I hated every
Yeah, but you still
second of
did it.
I did it because my wife makes me. I would.
You were
sit
also on a
happily the
long
couch.
ass flight.
11
It
Emma,
hours.
was
what do you
not a
think about
short
this?
flight.
How is this? Wait, how is this only a 7?
Because
This
What
because
more do
people
you
are still
want,
flying.
Matt? What more do you need? It's a
Because
refund.
that incentivizes me to bring more stupid bags with me. on
True,
the trip I
true.
don't need
Emma,
to
what do you
go
think?
on.
Emma, what do you think?
I think it's good. I think that Matt's insane. I feel like I have had luggage issues, I have had in-flight Wi-Fi issues, and I would like to be compensated. It's a 10.
Wow.
Anyone who knows me knows I have a few wishes in the world. One of them is that I always want the airlines to lose my luggage because I hate it. I hate owning things. I hate everything I own. I'll take the
my
money.
God.
I don't really give me the cash. I don't care. The other thing is I want a very gentle fire in my home when no one's there, with no pets around, because I want the check. I want to replace everything in my disgusting house. Like, I'm just sick of it. I mean, what am I
Wait,
doing
you want
here?
the gentle fire to burn your house down so you get a check for it?
Yeah, because I want to finally have a nice bathroom. I want to get rid of all the junk in my basement. So this is what I'm saying. What I'm
Fraud.
trying to
Damien, you're a very
say,
confusing character.
what I'm saying, JetBlue, is lose my luggage. I just don't care. Just give me the money. Hungry.
I'm
All
so
right,
confused
moving on.
by you.
Just don't fly.
I just don't want stuff, Emma. What's confusing about that? I'm just sick of
Wait,
stuff.
you're saying you don't want stuff, but you want a new bathroom. You understand
Damien
how
wants-
those
Damien wants to buy a bag, fill it with crap, bring it on an airplane, have them lose it, and then pay him for the bag.
Yes,
Just don't.
that's
get
it
the other-
exactly.
You don't have to do any of the things. Don't
I
do
should just
anything
start
to get
carrying.
that.
I should just start carrying like empty, invisible bags and then complaining awkwardly.
God.
All right, Matt. A shorter working week trial in Iceland, hailed as an overwhelming success. Kickstarter is transitioning to a 4-day work week in 2022. Here we go.
I love all the concept here. I do think that like the people are just like now we're in Zoom world where everyone works 24/7 and burnout's like a much bigger problem. Do we really think just moving the work week to 4 days means no one's going to work on like Friday or Monday or whatever day you have off?
I
It's
mean,
gonna happen.
I love the idea of it, but it would have to be like awkwardly mandated by the people at Tencent because it's just gonna all it's gonna do is some companies are just gonna take off because of it, right? They're not gonna stop doing. They're not
I
gonna
mean,
do 4 days.
Microsoft's literally made virtual commuting a thing. So you sit and
Right.
like watch train motion while you drink a coffee. I don't believe anyone's going to adhere to it.
Theory,
because you're
I
gonna
love it.
get
Theory, I
an
love it.
Email on your day off. And you're going to feel pressure to respond in this country. In Iceland,
And yeah,
I get it.
and your competitors
US?
will crush you.
well, that's a stupid narrative. That I don't think is true. But I do think that people feel pressure to do it. I like it. I want to really like it. I like it. I'm just going to give it a 6 though because I think it's going to fail.
Emma, what do you think?
Whoa. I feel like you're more negative than me today, Matt.
That's
I told you
okay.
I hate the universe.
I would love a 4-day work week. I feel like
Well,
I
of
feel like
course.
every
You're Emma
study,
Lurkin.
every academic who studies this, everyone who studies labor, they're like, yeah, work less hours. Like it makes people more productive. I think that I read somewhere that on average, most workers actually do like 2 real hours of work a day. Like
Mm,
people who work a lot of hours do like
That's
2
what's going
really
on with Emma,
solid
Matt.
That explains so much.
and
I don't like how excited Emma is by this, but I like your honesty. What's your score?
but my score I believe is an 8 and the 2 points are taken away because I do think that it's in the United States. I agree with Matt, it is a huge culture problem, and like I could never completely ignore something even if I'm supposed to be off.
I so could. So ignore
Well,
that.
you proved that you did.
It's true.
We both work for massive corporations in which we ignored them.
Matt. Actually, I'll throw this to Emma because I feel like Emma
Nope,
might have
you're not.
Emma might have more insight. This is the big
First,
gig.
you're gonna- yeah, there we go.
Oh, shut your mouth. I want you to explain something to me, Emma, because I don't understand what this
Okay.
has to do with Phoenix. Airbnb has blocked nearly 20,000 bookings across 7 U.S. cities as part of its party house ban, with almost 1/4 in Phoenix. What the hell's going on in Phoenix? Why would anyone go to Phoenix? And why would you want to have a party in Phoenix? What's going on, Emma? What do you think about this? You're
Phoenix-
young. Do you feel like is this the equivalent of Tencent telling you to stop playing Zelda? Like what? How dare they stop my party? What's going on?
I think that you're thinking a little small. I think that Zelda is not really what's happening in these houses. I think well, first of all, I'm pretty sure that Arizona and Phoenix in particular are like kind of low-key party capitals for people
Okay.
my age.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm, like, not
Gronk
kidding.
comes from Arizona.
Oh, that's true.
They play
But
college there at least.
I mean, I don't know if I feel positively or negatively about this necessarily. I mean, I get why the party house thing is a problem for Airbnb as a company, but then again, I don't give a shit about Airbnb as a company. I really wish them harm, maybe.
Harm. Wow.
Wow.
'Cause- I mean,
Although I
We
will
know
agree,
it's
like if I
Airbnb.
rent your house and I want to have a party, that's my. I mean, I want to have a party. I mean, what? Don't give me your house. Don't hand me your keys.
I think
for
that the
night.
parties they're talking about are like ragers, though. I think they're not talking about
Have you
like
seen my
taking
parties, Emma?
shrooms with 10 of your friends. You know, I
Oh,
think
that
it's
sounds nice too.
so I don't know. I guess I don't really care. It's a 5.
Yeah, I knew no one would care. I just wanted to see what you guys would say about this, Matt.
I wonder who. Well, my first instinct was to wonder who's booking the parties, right? Like if there's algorithmic bias in who they're rejecting because it's based on algorithm. But
You would think-
actually, I mostly don't care about that. I was channeling Emma by thinking about that. What I did do was go read the Airbnb's press release when they announced
Mhm.
the party ban, and the thing that stuck out to me is how they define a party is like 16 plus people occupancy.
Yeah.
They cap the occupancy. There's a bunch of little things in there that were interesting.
That
But at the
excludes all my
very
parties.
bottom, at the very bottom of the press release, they tagged the press release. It's like a blog style press release, and it says, "Read more about trust." and there's a tag on the Airbnb where you can read all their trust articles. That immediately made me not trust them, because if you have to tag the article trust, it makes me not
Oh.
trust you. So I'm giving it a 5.
I'm dying for a number. Matt, quickly, Matt. How do they know there's going to be a party? How do they know?
They know because you actually put the order for the keg directly into the Airbnb interface.
All right, Emma, you talked about this in pre-production. Let's go over to our wars category. The biggest war of them all. The Cold War between U.S. and China. So Emma wanted to talk about this. I'm going to let her weigh in. The NBA, the National Basketball Association, wants to play the positive role and help diffuse U.S.-China tensions. Now, Emma, I know you're going to give me some kind of negative reaction to this, but what's wrong with diffusing tensions in general? Come on, what's wrong with it?
This led to a discussion between the three of us that turned kind of meta, which is sort of where I was hoping it would go, but I wasn't sure if I could reel them in to talk about meta stuff with me, but I did, and it was very lovely. And
Confused already.
and my reaction to this initially was like, Adam Silver, you stupid idiot. Like, what are you doing?
Aw.
You're not a diplomat.
Aw.
I
Shut
like Adam
up.
Silver.
Do you? Does anyone?
I do.
We'll discuss that later.
He talks about his
Um,
players' mental health. That warmed my heart.
Oh yeah, he cares so
Aw,
much
you
about
have
their
a
mental
heart?
health, I'm sure. But my initial reaction was like mind your business. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're the.
Yeah, if I want to play
What
video games late at night, let me play video games.
And then Matt and Damien brought up some very good points about the fact that, because I think that the NBA makes like $5 billion in the Chinese market. Like, it's a huge market for American basketball, and in particular merchandise. Like, the China as a country buys a ton of NBA merchandise compared to most other countries that are fans of the NBA. And they were saying, Matt and Damon were pointing out to me, like, okay, Adam Silver is only diffusing the tension because he has business interests. And I was sort of like, exactly. Why are we allowing people who purely have like intentions to increase profit involved in smoothing over tensions between countries and about this problem that we have created where governments are sort of in a chokehold and they can't do anything, but then all of a sudden these titans of industry are the ones who are like taking over and doing stuff, but it's really all in the interest of capital gain. So this whole thing led me down a rabbit hole is what I'm trying to say.
The real question here is, why didn't I put this in the speed round?
It was a great question. I don't know why you told me to talk and I was like, really?
What do you get? What, give it a score. I appreciate your input there. Give me a score. Come on,
It's a
Come on.
3.
Matt.
I just to counter Emma very slightly, in 2016, the NBA actually announced a European ambassador program in which they reach out to European countries and the youth in those countries to sell more merch and basketball. This is normal. This is normal.
I know it's normal, but it's
we sent
gross
like,
that it's normal. I don't like that it's normal.
like
We need more Chinese players in the NBA. That's what we need.
I mean, Dennis Rodman is like, he goes to North Korea for summer vacation, doesn't he?
Okay,
Like,
don't
it's-
compare China to North Korea. You're just getting
I'm just
weird now.
saying, like, sending people to places where there's tension, like in the NBA, is not like abnormal. I don't. The thing is, I don't really care about it. Like, but it happens all the time. I'm giving it a
But give it a
5.
score.
I know it
Giving
happens
it
all
a
the time,
5.
but I'm upset that it happens. How did we
What do you
live
think
this
about-
far?
No one should care. No one.
Speaking
should care.
about
Yes, they
the-
should.
Speaking about the NBA acting as ambassadors of goodwill, what about we don't have to talk about it, but what the Harlem Globetrotters petitioned to become a franchise in the NBA? Did you hear about that?
I did not.
That sounds fun.
And that
True.
sounds
True
like
story.
Donald Trump's lawsuit against Facebook. A
Matt.
stupid exercise.
Let's go over to the woke data. I thought of you when I saw this headline, Matt. The FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, wants the airline industry to fight decades of sexism on airplanes by removing words like cockpit, airman, and unmanned. Now I know you hate air travel. I know you hate cockpits. What do you think about this? Come on.
So
That's a terrible name, by the way. Cockpit. It's horrible.
yeah, but it's not named after men.
Stop.
Is it?
Come on.
Like the
Back to the
etymology
headline.
is from like a 16th century.
It's
boat.
2021. Let's be real.
I don't do. Does anybody? I mean, what were these names offending people? Were people like?
I'm a big fan of
Cockpit.
removing of gender
I'm
gender
fine
neutral
with
language.
it.
I'm
Like
with
I
it.
know, like when in tech, right? Like they have master nodes and slave nodes, and I know like that language is way more charged because they actually.
Says
like,
you.
Well, I mean, like the way those things function, the master, does orders around the slave node, and like that's what it did. Like that's what they did. This is like, I don't know. Was anybody thinking like this language gross? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people were like, this is
I
such
think
a
you are
gross
wrong.
thing. But I don't. I guess I only moderately care, if at all, about this. That's another 5. Stop giving
What
me
if I
fives.
told you
Give me
that-
something to be excited about. This is not
What if I
exciting.
told you that 94% of pilots and flight engineers are white men?
Well, that's a
Whoa.
different problem. Then that
Well,
makes,
no, I said fight decades of sexism on airplanes.
yeah, by removing words like cockpit. How about
It's a
hiring
start.
women
There's-
and
there's
people of
more
color?
There's more they
No.
can do.
Changing the name from cockpit does not mean it's less men flying the planes.
All
It just
right.
All right,
means you
Matt, I have a
changed the
question for you.
words.
Matt, I have a
Matt-
question for you.
Matt doesn't want to remove sexism. Yeah, go ahead, Emma.
Do you think that if the culture of being a pilot, working in air travel were changed, do you think that that would be more of a more attractive industry to women? Do you think that more women would be interested in being pilots?
If you're
I-
asking me,
I give that
if
question
they
a 7.
If they if they change the name of the place where a pilot sits to fly the airplane, would more women become pilots? I think no. I think the name of the thing is not keeping women out of it. The culture, maybe.
All part of it. It's all part of it.
But don't you think that words have a heavy impact on that culture?
Of course. Matt's an
yeah,
idiot. We all
maybe.
know this.
Like, but I don't think like that's the biggest barrier to entry here. The biggest barrier to entry here is that the people who hire pilots are all white people. They all hire white men. There's a culture of white men in schools that have nothing to do with the name of the airplane seats or the place.
But in order to get hired as a pilot, you need to go through flying school, correct? And in order
Yeah.
to do that, you have to drum up interest. You have to create an environment that is friendly to people of all genders, sexualities, races, whatever. And the way that it is structured culturally, which includes words, you need to attract people.
I
Like you
don't
can't just
discount
hop in
that.
one.
I don't.
He did give it a
discount
5,
that. I'm
Emma. He
saying
didn't. He
it's
did. He didn't
not
go
the-
below 5. He
It's
sort
not
of
the
agreed.
thing. You want to fight decades of sexism? Don't start with the name of the thing. Hire more fucking women. You want to fight sexism? It's really
Okay,
really simple.
you're
It's
not-
But in order to
changing the
hire
words.
women, you need
Just
to have women
you
who are
could just
trained.
hire them. You could just
Don't
there's
subvert the
women out
good
there.
game. Don't subvert the good game. We're taking it headline by headline. There's no implication that they're not going to do other things. We're
Well,
dealing with
that's
the
what
headline. Come on, Emma.
Suggests.
Give it a
The
score,
headline
Emma.
Is suggesting it's
I like
culture
it.
war.
It's an 8.
Yeah, Emma's right. Whatever Emma says is right. Moving on. Here's one of these headlines, Matt, that I don't even know how to handle these headlines. It always seems great, but you are by far the leading ESG expert in North America. So how am I supposed to interpret this? New Jersey approves 2 1 gigawatt plus offshore wind projects. I mean, holy Christ. I mean, that sounds like time for a celebration, right? But what is that? What do I do with that?
So it's going to take 10 years to actually build it, but everyone should celebrate anytime any municipality decides to do something that isn't
Okay.
burn more shit out of the ground.
Hear
So
that, people?
Give it a 10 and move on.
I
Give
like
it a
it.
10 and
That's
move
a
on.
speed round moment. Emma, what do you think? You agree with this guy?
I do not have enough context
Oh.
to give it a 10. So it shall be an 8.
Okay, well, 8 is basically 10. All right, we discussed this on the show this week, but I wanted you guys to grade this. An Exxon lobbyist caught on Sting video describes anti-climate moves. Matt, do you think this helps the climate crisis movement here? Do you think this helps in any way? What do you think? Is this good?
I think it helps move Greg Goff one step closer to the CEO
Yes.
role. Like this is what happens every day in this industry.
All right, what do you think?
It's such a yawn moment. I like it mostly because it makes our prediction closer to right. I'm
True.
giving it a 7.
Oh,
for
it's
that
going to be
reason.
right. Both of your big yawn moments this year involved Exxon. Emma, what do you think?
What was our other yawn moment with Exxon?
The revolution at the board
Oh,
of
yeah.
Exxon.
Yeah, I
Activist
remember.
revolution.
Yeah, because goddamn boring. So, and this is also goddamn boring. So it's a 5.
Oh, I like this Sting video. I like Borat. I know you guys hate Borat. I like Borat. Oh, Emma, here we go.
hate Borat.
Pinterest. You like Pinterest, right, Emma? I've
don't
never
like
used
might be
Pinterest.
strong. I taught my mom how to use Pinterest the other day.
Good enough for me. That's like. Here we go. Pinterest is banning all weight loss ads and images, becoming the first major tech platform to do so. I think this is big news. What do you think, Emma?
Sweet. It's a 10.
Oh, speed round. I love it. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I guess that's nice. I don't care. So I'll give it a 7.
Okay. I don't
I'm
care. It's
not
a
on
7.
Pinterest. I don't
like
care.
it. Matt, America used fewer fossil fuels in 2020 than it has in 3 decades. Can we do anything with this?
Don't worry, we're going to make it up in 2021. Good job, America. Coming back. I think it needs to be a sustained effort, and it needs to be 0 fossil fuels. But this is a start, so I'll give it a 7.
I'm surprisingly chipper on that one, Emma. What do you think?
The reason that we used fewer fossil fuels in 2020 is
Why?
because we were all locked inside our
I loved
homes.
it. I loved it.
Interesting. I'm
We
basically
should
still
be
locked inside.
impressed by that. I don't know
No, I
why
love
that is.
it.
I
All
love
day
it
long.
in practice because, it's ultimately a good result. But,
win's a
first
win.
of all, the Gulf of Mexico was on fire. People are dying from the heat in the Pacific Northwest. I don't know what the hell there really is to be celebrating here when we were forced by a global pandemic that killed millions of people to
Still
stay
killing.
inside and not use fossil fuels. This is so. This is a 1.
Oh,
What? That
All right,
is nonsense.
I'm so irritated by the presentation of that.
one more before we take a break and get to our speed round. Matthew, once again, we got to go to our expert here because I don't know if this is good or bad. It sounds good. The U.S. is about to go all in on paying farmers and foresters to trap
Good
carbon.
So I don't know if anybody remembers this. I think they probably do a little bit, but
No, I don't.
There was the Trillion Tree campaign
Oh,
in
yeah,
2018.
Yeah.
And a lot of headlines now saying that's bullshit. So
There
It
is a
is.
lot of conversation about that being bullshit. I'm not sure that it is total. Well, it's not a panacea, but look, when you don't cut down trees, that's good.
yes,
Don't cut down trees is good. So if the U.S. is going to basically pay a farmer to make sure they don't cut down trees, that's good.
Yeah.
Do that a bunch because it's better than corn subsidies. So I'm giving it a
Oh
10.
boy, is it.
Emma, you
Yeah.
love the sweet nectar of corn, but what do you think about trapping carbon?
Like, I like it. I feel like I should stipulate that yes, like this is a good thing. But you know what else would be a good thing?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
You know what else would be a good
What?
thing?
Tell me.
This
Algorithmic bias?
that as
Thomas
lovely a
Jefferson.
thing as that is, I think that a better thing would just to be to tax corporations based on their carbon emissions and like
Okay.
put regulations in there because that would be
That's true too,
stellar.
but this is at least directly paying farmers who
like
desperately
trees.
need it. What's your
Emma
score,
hates
Emma?
trees,
So-
so.
trees.
What's your
Yeah,
score, Emma?
my score for this is a 6.
Okay, let's take a break. And let's go to our mailbag 872 float 72. Early this week we had a incredible new theme song sung to us,
We did.
inspired by the musical Gypsy. So, do we have anything remotely entertaining this week, Matt? What do we have?
Two things.
Oh, yeah, we
in
have
the
a.
mailbag.
Oh wait, Yeah, we have. Okay, we have a. What do we have? I'm sorry, I cut you off. We have
Yeah,
a.
we have a text message that we got to
Okay.
872 float 72, and we also got a voicemail to 872
Okay.
float 72. We'll
Why don't we
with
start with the
text.
text message?
Yeah, let's do the text.
I'm gonna. All right.
Read us out.
Okay, here we go. Do we know who this is from, by the way?
No, it's by someone from somewhere.
We don't have an area code.
We have.
We do, but we won't give it
but
away.
Who knows? Who
Why?
knows
Why can't we
where
give
they're
it away?
really- They could be living in Saskatchewan, and the area
That's
code could be
true.
Bahamas.
Yeah, but I'm gonna pretend like it's. I want to pretend like it's a landline. All right,
All
fine.
right,
You're not gonna tell me.
what is it? A grandmother? Nobody's got a landline.
Because I want you to. Because here's my game. I want you to give me the area code so I can pretend it's some like local celebrity there. That's the game in my head.
It is a local Philadelphia celebrity. Then I don't.
Okay, so it's Joel Embiid, the center for the Philadelphia 76ers, wrote us, and he asked, "How do you calculate net worth?" Getting real tired of hearing they don't actually have that money by every defeated centrist on Twitter. Like, sure, zillionaires don't have their worth in cash on hand, but is there a rule of thumb for how many countries they could potentially buy at any given moment? That's the question from Joel Embiid, Center for the 76ers. I don't really understand this question, Matt. Help me out.
So there's two parts, I think. The first part is, what is net worth really?
What is net worth?
And the second part is, how many countries should we think about billionaires being able to buy?
I don't get this. I don't get the second part of the question. I'm guessing that right in the middle of this question, our listener Joel Embiid got high.
I hope so. Congratulations.
Okay. All right.
If that is the case.
Help
So
us out. Let's start with the first one. What is net worth? Yeah. How do we calculate that?
See a headline in Forbes that says Jeff for $200 billion. That number comes from an estimate of everything that Jeff Bezos owns, whether it's stock or real estate or an airplane or a toaster, minus everything he owes. So like his mortgage and that gambling debt he took out from the Lucchese family. That is the big number, and it's almost always an estimate. It's based on something they can find or some reported numbers, but no one really knows. What we do know is that someone like Uncle Hefe has 189 billion, I think, worth of Amazon stock, and that he's not going to sell it all at once because it would create a run on Amazon stock. Everyone would be like, oh my God, Hefe got out and the stock's going to drop and it's going to be terrible. Everybody get out, and that's really bad. But you can probably bet, as a relative rule of thumb, now this is a make-believe rule of thumb, but try it. If you want to know how much cash someone has on hand, remove a zero from their net worth, and they probably have roughly that on hand.
Why? Where'd you get with that? Where did that nonsense come from? Where'd you get that idea from? What are you doing?
Most billionaires, the vast majority of their money is tied up in the stock that they own in a thing. It's either an asset of some kind that they can't sell, or stock that they have to sit on because it's either restricted or they don't want to create a run on their company. Billionaires' money is almost always tied up in stuff like that. It's like real estate. You can't sell that fast, right? Or stock, and it'll be a big run.
Matt, I think you're revealing the secret as to why these billionaires have so much security around them, because you're telling me that if Mark Zuckerberg has $10 billion of cash on him at all times, that's what you're saying, right? In his wallet?
In his wallet, yeah.
That's why he
special bill for him.
That's why he spends about $15 million a year to protect himself, because he's walking around with a big wad of cash. So that makes sense now. I get it now.
That money is going to be mostly in bonds and money market funds and in a bank account somewhere, so that they can actually do it. But if we assume there's been a reported estimate that like Uncle Hefe is worth 13 billion in liquid assets, that's a guess. Mm-hmm. It's a guess. There's no evidence. We don't actually know, but 13 billion roughly in liquid assets. That makes Uncle Hefe's liquid net worth the same as Albania's GDP. So Uncle Hefe can buy 1 year of productivity of the entire country of Albania.
What does that mean exactly? How does one buy that?
You just hire everyone in Albania for 1 year, and you get everything that they make. That's what.
So maybe that would be another way for Jeff to get this space, is if everyone in Albania stood on each other's shoulders, maybe they could just throw him.
They could.
Oh.
He's probably pretty close to Mars at that point. But
Okay.
if you take his total net worth, that big number that you see, and he liquidated everything, he sold his toaster, he sold mop, footsie things. He sold all of his stock and took every bit of that cash, sold it all at once and took every bit of that cash. He's worth roughly 209 billion. That's another estimate because when you sell it, it probably actually drop in value and whatever. But the fact is Jeff Bezos could buy the entire productivity of New Zealand then.
Ooh.
So he goes from number 122
Now you're
on the
talking.
list of countries for GDP to number like 40 or 50 on the list of countries for GDP. So that's how
I'm
you
gonna-
can think about it.
I'm going to make a prediction right here. That if you ask the entire world, what would they rather buy, New Zealand or Albania? 99.99% would say they'd rather buy Albania.
I think that's false.
Thank you, Matt Mascardi. Thank you,
Thank you,
listeners.
listener. Thank you,
Oh,
Oh wait,
listener.
I
Look at-
had one. I'm so sorry.
Wait,
I had
what?
one
I don't hear
caveat
any.
to
Do you
Matt.
hear something, Matt? I don't hear anything. I'm trying to move on. Yeah, go ahead. What's your caveat, Emma Lurkin? Go ahead.
I'm
She's gonna
switching the name
school
of
you.
cockpit to like vagina
Damien
pit, you
Pit?
guys.
No, don't say
Assholes.
pit. I don't like the word pit. What is it with pit?
So cock is fine.
It's
you just
Cockpit is
change
from
pit.
cockfighting. That's what it is. The cockpit where the cocks fight. That's where it's from.
Ridiculous.
Anyway, the one caveat I was going to say is for overall net worth, the one thing that they don't publicize that I think is important to know when you're like arguing with your centrist Twitter friends is that their overall net worth is probably even higher than they are estimating because there are all sorts of private assets and undisclosed
True.
investments that
True.
no one has any idea about. There's no way. to
Preach, Emma.
Yeah. So you can add a solid couple of billion at least.
I hope this listener, who I'm guessing is Joel Embiid of the Philadelphia 76ers, writes back in again because what I'm really intrigued about is that they actually have centrist friends on Twitter. There are centrists on Twitter.
Maybe centrist
Like,
enemies. They could be
No,
fighting with their
no.
centrist enemies.
I thought it was just a cesspool of people on either side just screaming.
That's correct. And
Okay.
for the record, just to get to the bottom of this, cockpit comes from a
stop.
nautical term about the rear of a ship, which is named after coxswain, the coxswain,
Sounds terrible.
which is actually the literal translation was boat servant. So
Okay,
it
it's
had nothing to
2021.
do with
It's 2021.
penises. Nothing to do with penises.
It's 2021, Mr. Etymology. All right, that's it. Let's close up the we have another question coming later, so let's keep that mailbag slightly open, Matt. Okay.
Okay, I'll
Don't seal it.
leave it ajar.
All right, let's go to our speed round.
Yay.
The most popular feature on all of our shows is when we rush through things. So I have 10 more headlines. I'm not going to signpost them, Emma. We're just going to rip through them. And what's the rule, Matt? How much time do you have to actually spit out a number?
Oh yeah, where there's no timer up, but it's like 3 seconds. It's like
3
really-
seconds.
Oh, I thought it was.
Yeah.
I thought it was 10.
It was 10, but I want to lower it. Let's make it 5. 5 seconds.
Whoa. Okay. And there's no clock around, so this is an honor
Hang
code.
on, ready? I can get one.
Nah, I got one.
Real
I got
quick.
it. I got you.
Are you getting it?
I sure am.
Okay. Well, we can
Yep,
barely
10
hear you,
seconds.
so
Yeah, I got it. I got it.
Trying to implement a speed round. I've already slowed down the show by these two
Yeah, you-
chuckleheads searching for clocks.
I have it. It's,
You ready for it?
Tell me when you're ready, Matt.
yeah.
Yeah, hit it.
Matt, astronomical CEO pay during the pandemic is abuse, according to the former Xerox CEO.
100. It definitely is abuse. It's abuse. Abuse me.
Emma.
Is Xerox still relevant? It's also a 10.
Ooh. Emma, college athletes can start making money off their name and fame, according to the NCAA.
10. It's a 10.
Matt.
They need to make more money, more than just some money. I want mucho money, and I want it to be a 10.
Just because I want to promote this feature, I'm including this in the speed round. Emma, the headline goes, I tried the new ride-hailing app in New York City designed to take driver power back from Uber and Lyft. And although it's still working out some kinks, I was happy to help drivers get more money. I just wanted to promote in New York City that there is a driver-controlled app. So screw Uber and Lyft. Emma, what's your number?
I don't know. Take a cab. It's a 5.
Ugh, boo to Emma.
Ooh,
Matt, what do you think?
boo.
Matt, she's
I can't hear about
dumping
ride
on a
sharing anymore. I'm
on a
so tired.
driver-owned cooperative to combat against Uber. I don't know what's going on with Emma.
Here's
Go
what
ahead,
I
Matt.
think. Emma just needs to run over the drivers with that score because that's just rude. Give it an 8 at least. It's an 8 at least.
Emma, Canada Goose to end the use of all fur on coats.
Jesus, finally, but also like rectifying a large mistake. So it's a 5.
Matt,
They were using fur. I
Yeah.
didn't even know they were using fur.
Like-
All right, well, good for me. I
Like
guess
Arctic wolf fur or some shit.
reverse
Give me a number,
stupidity,
speed round.
It's a 5.
I just wanted to include that one because I didn't know if either one of you knew there is a publicly traded company called Canada Goose. I thought that was exciting. Matt, Biden White House has majority female staff, narrow gender pay gap to 1%.
You hear that, companies?
Took
It
less than a year.
Joe Biden like 3 months to do that, and you guys complain like bullshit. It's a 10.
And he's a white dude. Emma,
Oh, he is?
He's doing what he's supposed to be doing. Now do other stuff too. It's a 6.
oh, that's not how we read headlines here, but Emma's going
That's
off on a
how I
tangent.
read headlines.
Emma, Johnson & Johnson will stop selling opioids in the U.S. as part of $230 million settlement in New York. Go ahead. Go. Speed round.
Yeah, cool, but also they suck. It's a 5.
Yeah, but you love drugs. Matt,
That's true. How dare you? Stop selling opioids is the least you can do. 230 million is a drop in the
It's a
bucket.
drop.
It should be
Doesn't feel
230
speedy.
billion. It's an
Doesn't feel speedy.
epidemic, and it should be a 5.
doesn't feel speedy. Matt, Robinhood to pay $70 million for misleading customers and outages, the largest FINRA penalty ever, whatever the hell FINRA is. Go ahead, Matt.
They're about to raise $4 billion in an IPO, and 70 million is barely a speeding ticket. It's a 2.
Emma? Ooh.
We need to explain what FINRA is.
We'll do it after the speed round.
Okay, fine. 70 million is once again like literally chump change for Robinhood. This is
Waiting for a
stupid.
number.
The largest FINRA penalty ever is pathetic. It's a
Waiting for a number.
I said
Two.
it's a 2.
Matthew, Walt Disney's great niece praised Warren Buffett's character, but argued most of his $100 billion fortune should go to the government, not philanthropy.
Where
Whoa.
did Walt Disney's great niece get their money from?
Oh.
Did they get it from the government? No, they got it passed down. So it's a 2.
Oh,
I
but
agree,
We just
but it's a
we just
2.
talked about this that we thought it should go to the government, not
I
philanthropy.
agree, and it's a 2.
Emma, speed round.
Praising his character is confusing in conjunction with telling him that he's doing shit wrong, but I don't disagree. It's a 6.
Yes, I love when Emma outscores Matt. Matt, Best Buy to spend $1.2 billion supporting businesses owned by people of color. Is that a good headline? Go.
6.
Emma?
Like, can't it support people of color in its own company? Should they just do
Go,
stuff?
Emma.
It's a 5?
And finally, Matt, Richard Branson believes the space market has room for 20 companies launching tourists.
Oh, Richard.
Like 20 billionaires.
Hopefully they'll never come
right?
back.
It's just 20 billionaires to dick fight on their way to Mars. I don't care
Cockpit
about
fight.
this. 4.
Emma?
The space market has room for 20 companies. So it's already like stipulating the oligopoly that is going to be created in space. Only 20. All right, Richard, that's fine. 4.
No.
You're both wrong. It's a 10 because there will be accidents. There will be explosions. Thank
like
you.
a
That was the speed
NASCAR.
round for the good game, July 8th, 2021. Emma, your buzzer explanation buzzer went off. You want to know what FINRA is? The context being that Robinhood is paying a $70 million fine for misleading customers and outages, the largest FINRA penalty ever. Matt, you used to be a financial sector's wizard. So tell us about
I
this.
actually was a registered investment advisor
Nobody
by
believed that.
FINRA. It's
Nobody believed that.
Financial Industry
Oh, really?
Regulatory Authority. I was a financial advisor there. You get your Series 7. It's a FINRA administered test. And FINRA is just a regulatory body for anybody who's giving financial advice.
I
That's it.
have an idea for a new segment. We should
Is it
call
called
up every
FinRadical?
I think one by one we should call up all of Matt's former advisees and see how it turned
Oh.
out.
I'm
they're all
100% willing to make those calls if Matt it lets us.
Right, there's,
And can
there's
we add
client,
ex
confidentiality.
girlfriend to
Keep it-
that list?
My ex-girlfriends are wealthier than I am.
Thank
As they
you.
should be.
Oh no, before we wrap up, let me tell you the scores first, and then we'll get to our last voicemail. We're happy still. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's the summer. Matt, you're at a 7, so you're still feeling good. Emma, you're at a 6.
You know what screwed me up is the speed round. There's 3 10s in the speed round because
true.
I just move quickly and I just go binary like 10 or 0.
Well, I don't know if that's
basically.
true because your
going with
last
your
5
gut.
scores were 5, 2, 2, 6, and 4. So that kind of brought you
Matt,
down.
Is your gut a happy-go-lucky, happy person?
My gut is to yell louder during a speed round, and yelling louder makes me excited and gives more 10s.
All right, that's it.
Makes me
Let's wrap
stupider.
up the show. Let's go back to our mailbag 872-FLOAT-72. This is an actual phone number that we pay for. Maybe let's just pretend that we do. And these are actual callers, actual listeners. So we have yet another one to cover today. This is a recording, right, Matt? Someone left us
This
a
is a
voicemail.
recording. Someone left us a real voicemail. It's a
All
pretty
right, go
short
ahead.
voicemail. Here it is.
Hello. Oh, I started talking too early. My question is, given that, as you guys say, ESG is like kind of fake,
Mm-hmm.
things sucks.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a person who is like concerned about the climate, is
Yeah.
there anything financial to give you any hope?
Mm.
Or does everything suck? That's my question. Thank you. Bye.
This person's speaking my heart. I love this person. This is how I feel about everything. This is I have this question 55 times a day, everything I do. So I'm looking forward to the answer from our great
Me too.
pundit Matt Moscardi.
The question was, does everything suck, really? So I'm gonna assume the caller. So good question. I'm gonna assume you mean investing, but when you said financial. So I'm gonna answer the question. Is there anything, if you're concerned about the climate, is there anything you can invest in to feel
No.
good? You having hope. Here's my hot take. Nope. There isn't
Oh.
anything.
I stole the headline. Sorry.
All right. There are 2,400 stocks in the U.S. that you can buy. And data from MSCI, our alma mater, suggests that only 40 of those companies make most of their money from stuff that helps the climate. But even
Jesus.
that number is totally misleading because it's really just
True.
one company. Because of those 40, Tesla represents 70% of the total market cap. So Tesla, it's basically 39 companies run by a guy named Gus who makes solar panels and Tesla, right? Like, so that's what you are investing in. So if I rewrite the question a little bit again, it's really, as someone looking to invest in US companies that help the climate, how much Tesla should I buy? And the answer to that question is much easier. None
Oh.
dollars of Tesla is how much you should buy. In fact, don't invest in the stock market at all if you're looking to fix the climate. The stock market is basically one idiot selling a piece of paper to another idiot. There is no climate changing. The companies
Okay.
don't get your money. They don't use it to stop climate change. If you buy a stock on Robinhood to stop climate change, really you're just betting that some other investor will think the company building a widget that you bought might be more valuable one day. You're playing against investors. You're not actually fixing the climate. So honestly, the answer
What's
to
she
the
supposed to
question
do,
is,
Matt?
the best thing you can do for the climate is the stuff we covered last show based on that University of Leeds study. Live in 640 square feet in a bunk
Oh,
bed next
stop
to your
it.
sweaty roommate. Don't
Happily.
own more than
No.
8 pounds of clothes, which is basically
Happily.
one pair of wet wool socks. Don't wash your clothes. Act
Happily.
like you're a
This is horribly
football player
depressing.
with his jock strap. Don't fly, drive, or
Happily.
move unless it's by unicycle.
Happily.
Eat less meat and punch a
Happily.
carnivore once a week. Your investment dollars won't actually move the needle unless you're a billionaire. That
Matt-
said, I usually just assume all of our listeners are billionaires. So maybe buy all the Tesla you want.
Matt, you're oddly agreeing with me. I agree with you. Consume wisely. That's my perspective too. So that's what I say to our
Okay,
call. I
hang
know
on,
I know
hang on.
Emma's all upset because she probably lives
I'm
in
not
a
upset.
in
I
a
have a follow-up.
Williamsburg penthouse with all of her fancy friends who work for HBO. I don't know what Emma's up to, but
Oh Jesus!
tell us why that's bad, Emma. Come on, let's hear it.
That's not bad. I don't think it's bad. I agree with you, but I do have a follow-up question in the face of
She's
fear.
not actually
being
here,
mad at
Emma.
me.
She left a voicemail. You can't ask her a follow-up question.
No,
I
I'm
think she's asking me.
you a question, asshole.
Ooh. Cockpit.
Jesus. Okay, my follow-up question is, what about outside of the investing world and slightly tangential, what about stakeholder activism? Like what about, you know, what can you do at least
Love
if
a
you can't
follow-up.
invest your dollars into combating climate change, how can you interact with
Like
the
this question.
companies?
The question is a 9.
Now you
Matt.
like my goddamn question.
Oh, I like you all the time, Emma. Come on, stop.
So here,
Shut
there
up.
is an investment in which you can make some difference, right? And you're talking about it now. There's really think of it as there's 4 types of investors, right? You can be a hopeful risk taker, and you can funnel all your money into climate tech solutions, which is what I was talking about, right? Like you buy Gus's solar panels, and hopefully, company, and hopefully some idiot buys that stock later. That doesn't really fix climate change, but it makes you feel good. What you're talking about is number 2, which is activist at heart, right? Like you buy a company that sucks at climate change, and assuming you have a vote, you go file shareholder proposals, or you vote on everything that is positive climate, right? Like change your
Right.
policies, report on climate, lower your emissions. Usually there's actually academic studies that show this is value accretive. This is actually works. Your share value goes up, and companies tend
I love it.
to actually listen to it. The downside is it takes a fucking long time. Decades
Progress is
sometimes.
slow, is Matt,
And a
what
lot of
Matt is
votes.
saying.
We only have like 10 years to get this right.
That's true.
I mean, it's got to start now. So it's really slow. So the activist thing works. There are 2 more options that you have if you're just going to invest your dollars. The third one here is to be lazy as shit, and you just buy an index fund or a mutual fund focused on climate change and let them vote. They have more money. Their votes matter more because there's more money involved.
That sounds
but
like
you're
country
outsourcing
club
it.
investing.
I mean, like that's why it's lazy as shit, right? You go invest in a mutual fund that calls itself the Greenie, hippie mutual fund, and then you suck Mai Tais down at your country club, and hopefully, a company changes somewhere. The last one is my solution, which is consume different. It's Damien's favorite.
You know what I learned this past week that I never knew? That even after you spend the exorbitant annual fee to be a part of a country club, I don't know why anyone won't be a part of a country club, you still have to pay for the French fries.
Correct.
I thought it was all free. I thought it was like a
entry
non-stop.
You have
fee.
not only do you have to pay
buffet.
for it,
Yeah.
but you have a minimum. There's a minimum.
minimum amount of French fries?
A minimum.
Yes.
Minimum amount of food you have to purchase.
That's
That is a
terrible.
condition of your membership.
Is there anything good about a country club, Emma? Let's
No.
take some notes and report back.
Literally no.
Thank
I tried to
you.
get you guys to buy Callaway Golf. Like, and
Country
that would've
clubs
been-
are like churches. They
Uh,
don't pay taxes. And
Is that
they're
true? They don't pay
exclusive-
taxes?
Many country clubs do not play taxes.
I like this tangent Emma's going on. Matt, I think you invented a new category that's basically hate investing. Did you not?
Hate investing.
But really, that's like the new inroad to our alternative democracies. Hate investing. Did you not just coin a phrase, Matt?
Well, it's like rage investing. Like you hate,
Right, exactly.
Yeah, you
All right.
hate a company, you change it.
Thank you, Matt and Emma, and to our listeners, 2 of you who contributed this week. Do you see this level of research and seriousness you get just with your stupid question? Look at this. I mean, it's incredible. Like I'm very impressed by these 2. Really, honestly, hats off.
That's right. That's right. Hats off to us.
Business Pants, July 8th, 2021. That's all. Come on. Let's do it.
Yeah,
Oh, wait.
David
No.
Wallace.
Wait. Lurking
What?
list. Anything
There
on
was
lurking
no
list?
there was no bell.
Lurking list? No. Go. End the show.
Okay, I have no beeps
Cockpit.
except
No,
for
beep 'em.
that.
Beep him now. Beep him now. Did you say coxswain and then it's boat surfing?
Let's get out of
and
here,
then it's
Matt.
okay.
Let's get out of here.
That was Damian Morales and Emma Lurking. I'm Matt Mascardi. We are Free Float Media. This was Business Pants. This is where you put your pants on to learn about business that doesn't suck. Just something like that. That's the tagline. 872-FLOAT-72. Call us, text us, leave us messages on social media. If you got questions, we got answers. We do this research for tens of thousands of dollars to professional asset managers. I am not kidding. Our analytics department at Free Float Media sells this as a service. You get it for free just for listening to this podcast, typing some words into the interwebs and asking us your dumb question. You get the same answers that we give to institutional asset managers, and you don't even ask us nearly enough questions. So get on that. Also, subscribe and share this because I'm tired of asking. Just go do it. And bathe yourself in our new theme song.
Longest
because
outro ever.
Or if you
our
want to talk to
listener-
someone like nicer than Matt, you can talk to me.
Are you
Nah.
nice?
Matt's
Emma?
not that nice.
It's not really worth
All
it.
right, come on,
That's
get us
it.
out of here.
See you next week.